Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back with another Reddit Ask Me Anything with Jared Warren, Captain Deadpool, and Crystal Pittman.
What's up, brother?
How are you guys doing? So you guys train at two gyms, like you do Shift MMA. What's the other gym you guys train at?
The other gym's just our regular, we go to Crunch for like strength and conditioning type stuff. Um, we usually just kind of do like our own little thing in the early part of the day for that, and then every night is that shift.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so Jared, we had a firefighter guy send him some questions. He said he wants to know. He's a Chicago firefighter, and he said he wanted to know what got you into the firefighting, and then what are your favorite parts of the job.
Um, I kind of when I was in my early 20s, I was kind of at a crossroads. Like I was making good money doing construction at the time, but I knew that's not necessarily a good long-term plan because once your body starts to give out, you're fucked. So honestly, like I just kind of made a list of things that I thought I would enjoy because that was kind of my first and foremost goal, and from there narrowed it down to things that not only did I think I would enjoy, but had like a good retirement and something that I could retire on the younger side with, and narrowed it down to firefighting, which for the most part, I'm happy I did. It's been a good career. What I like about it the most is just the dynamics that you know you never know what's going to happen. Like any kind of desk job, you can usually lay out your whole day, what's going to be like before you get there. Um, Most shifts are never the same more than once. You know what I mean? Like some days are super busy, get your ass kicked all day and all night. Fires and medical calls, and then other days, once in a while, you get lucky and you just run a few here and there, and you kind of get to take it easy in between. So definitely get a little bit of everything with it.
Okay, and then another thing he wanted to know was what's dinners like? He said you guys usually have some fun dinner stories, and then he said, do you guys have a favorite prank that you like to pull on people at the firehouse?
Dinner's always good, man. We always try and eat good every shift. There's at my station, there's usually 8 people on duty at once. So one of the 3 units will go to the store, get all the shopping done and come back and start throwing everything together. So yeah, we always eat well. We always have fun, talking crap at the dinner table. I don't know if there's a favorite prank. There's just always little things going on. Um, but what's ridiculous is how childlike we all are because I remember I can't remember how many months ago it was, but somebody like they had no other comebacks other than like your mom. You know what I mean? And it fucking like it stuck. And now like everybody all day long is your mom joke. Like they never end. And like they're only funny because they're not funny. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
we're just a bunch of retards, honestly.
Have you ever watched that Tacoma Fire Department show that's from the guys from Super Troopers?
I started to. I watched part of the first episode, but I'm so used to seeing like those guys in like rated R type movies, like Super Troopers, like when they can really like be themselves.
Sure.
And that show is kind of like pressured down to like a PG-13, and it just
Right.
wasn't doing it for me. So I cut out of it pretty quick.
Okay, so Crystal, did Ralston try to talk to you at all and explain why she was so much overweight? Like, I can tell you're still bummed out, like that you didn't get a fight. Like, you can just kind of read it on you that you're upset that you didn't get a fight. Like, did she give you any kind of excuse, or like did she try to avoid you at all costs?
Yeah, I think I was the one that was making like the initiative to like go talk to her and like, I try to usually show like a whole bunch of sportsmanship before, fights and stuff, out of like respect and everything, but no. No, she didn't try to explain anything. I was really surprised actually how she was acting knowing she was off weight. She was kind of like, how would you explain that, babe? She was kind of acting kind of just like she had no,
Like too nonchalant about it, like almost like it
yeah.
was acceptable to be
Yeah.
what it was, which it definitely isn't.
Mm-hmm. And she had like mentioned like like over a year ago or so, her dad had passed away. So, as far as like that being tied in maybe with like her weight gain and stuff. But, obviously I'm a human being. So when, losing someone close to us is very
Sure.
hard. But, but when it comes to a professional, if you're going through something emotionally, mentally, that doesn't give you the right to like treat people like shit, to like hurt people, other people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, it's just
And nobody made her sign the contract. Like if she wasn't in a good state of mind, be like, when they came and asked her, be like, no, this isn't a good time for me to fight right now. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like it was a short notice fight that she only had a couple of weeks to cut weight for. Like she had a couple of months. You know what I mean? So she can give reasons, but she can't give any viable excuses.
yeah.
Yeah, it's really disappointing because here Jihad, he said that you look like a completely different fighter. You've been there a year now, and he's the fact that he was willing and you were willing to like give up 20 pounds and still throw a beat down on her. I think most people wanted to see that, and it's unfortunate. Did BKFC give you any sort of turnaround that when we could expect to see you again? Like, did they say we're going to try to get you on a short turnaround, or are they just hands in the air? We don't know yet.
So they are definitely, that's one thing I do love about my team. And, our promotion is, something falls through like that. They're obviously all going to work together to do what is right and do what the fans want as well, So my team is definitely working very hard to get me back in there again. So you should see me in there. I don't have exact dates yet, but it is very, very soon. I do know that. So we're just going to go back and keep sharpening the tools until I get back in there. But it will be soon. It will be
Good.
very
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We talked to the CEO of the BKFC UK last night, and he said like over I think they've had one total female fight on the UK cards, and he said it's been a real struggle to find talent over there and bring women in. And it's like we have all you ladies over here. We got Hart or not Hart. We have Savage and Taylor saying they couldn't get a fight, and then it'd be awesome if we could send you guys over there to maybe take on some other people, or put two Americans on the UK card just to add something. But I mean, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, we looked kind of briefly. We kind of like dug through the roster to see if there would be possibly anybody that could and would be willing to fight her short term on the card that I'm going to be on next week, because she's coming out there with me anyways.
Sure.
But like you said, it's really limited. There's not very many girls available, and probably even less over there just because it is a little bit smaller than the main organization.
Yeah. Okay, so Jared, is there any chance that we see you run it back with Dyer for a trilogy, or is that kind of like, I mean, you have Danny Christie in front of you, and I was told that the winner gets to fight Lorenzo. So is the Dyer thing something you want to run back, or you're kind of like fine with it at the moment?
Yeah, definitely. Like we, after the last fight, we were looking and hoping to get, a quick turnaround, another rematch. But you probably know, like in general, like BKFC doesn't like to do quick rematches. They usually like to have at least a year in between, most of the time. So it wasn't an option. And then, this whole thing with Danny Christie came about, and to me, like it's even better. I mean,
Sure.
like I want to beat Dyer as like a personal vendetta, but
Absolutely.
Christie is ranked higher. He's got the British belt over there and stuff, and does more towards putting me back in a title contention. So for something that wasn't necessarily expected, I think it's kind of best case scenario. I mean, because the only other guy that's ranked above me is Dave Mandel, and he's my teammate. You know what I mean? So this is going to be a good fight for me.
So Jihad was telling us that that you and Mundell actually, that I guess the plan is that you're gonna get a belt, defend it a couple times, and you and Dave are actually looking at switching weight classes. Is there any truth to that?
we kind of making a joke like that. Like once I get the belt to just like trade, we'll just flip flop. But yeah, because of like our builds, like Dave, even though he fights the class below me, he actually walks around a little bit heavier than I do. Just because he's more, he's a little shorter, a little more stout, and guys like that can usually have more water weight and stuff to cut. Whereas, like, I've kind of just accepted that I'm going to be like the lighter, smaller person in my division. because I just don't have much to cut out of me. You know, I've kind of been fortunate to always have like a low body fat kind of build, kind of lean all the time, and so other than sweating out, you know, a few pounds, there's not much for me to cut. So the guys I fight usually do end up being a bit heavier, um, but I've always been okay with it. I mean, there is the bright side of I never have to diet or
Sure.
calories or anything. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, he's lucky.
and it is good for state of mind too, because like early on when I first turned pro in general, that it was for MMA, and where I kind of sat back then, I did have to do some dieting and stuff, and I fucking hated it. Like I always walked
Absolutely.
on in a bad mood, and especially like you know having the full time gig as well. Like when I was on shift at work and still having to like kind of more or less starve myself, I was never in a great mood. But now like I enjoy my training. I enjoy, you know, just being able to eat what I want and, you know, always kind of being full in a sense and, you know, having plenty of energy to do what I need to do and not have to worry about, you know, having fucking low blood sugar.
Uh, Crystal, is there anybody that you want to fight? Is there a fight that you want to be made? I mean, like, I feel like at this point, you kind of got fucked over, so you should have the ability to kind of make your next fight. Is there somebody you'd like to call out, or?
You know, as far as calling out, I really just there's a lot of names, and for a lot of reasons. All I can say is that we have been putting in so much work in, and I don't want to talk a whole bunch of shit. I want to let my hands coming into 2024, you know, let our hands do the talking and just start running over in this division. And I'm ready. I don't care who the name is. We can put anyone in front of me. I believe that we are truly ready to just take anybody on right now. So it's I guess the whole division, everybody.
So are you're set at 135? You have no plans to cut down to 25, or would 25 just be too much?
So coach can take me to 125. We can. Now it's a struggle. You can ask all of them. I'm usually the last one to weigh in when it's time to be at 125. I'm always just that itty bitty off every time I go weigh in, and it is hard to get to 125, but we can do it, and we you
Okay.
know we've done catch weight 130.
Mhm.
So as far as being able to cut, yeah, we can definitely if we needed to 125, but I like being at 135, but we can definitely go down if we need to. It's not a huge division, you know.
Sure.
The women's divisions is in its adolescence, so you know, we just have to, I guess, take what we can.
So there's not a lot of competition yet. Is there anything that you think that what's going to need to be changed so that we could get more women in? I mean, because we've seen like on the Bare Knuckle show, they show like a whole bunch of women signed, but then we still haven't even seen them in the company yet. So what do you think is taking so long to get these newbies in? Are they trying to get them like? I mean, clearly you're a killer, so they don't want to throw somebody in who's brand new in experience. But like, what's it going to take before we can start seeing some real turnaround?
You know, as far as I think that the promotion is doing everything that they can to sign girls, but it's just very different. You know, it's bare knuckle. So I think a lot of girls sign, but they don't really know what they're getting themselves into. And I do know that, say, if you sign a girl that's 145, 150, there's no girls in that division. So it's hard to, match girls. So, and I hear of a lot of girls, pulling out that some fights that are going through, just like, say Jane Asty, not coming in to wait,
Right.
or I think Annie Crazian and Crystal, is it Lawson, or her? I think she goes by Bear Mare or something like that. But they were
Okay.
supposed to fight, and she pulled out, I think, due to injury. So I just think that I think the promotion's doing everything. It comes just down to the females if they want to come in. If they're ready to go bare knuckle, it's definitely a different type of female that will stay into the BKFC
Yeah,
for sure.
I think there's a lot of girls who have to come to terms with the fact that you may not look exactly like you did before the fight afterwards. You know what I mean? Like the scars, you know, very common, very permanent. And you're not going to have that with all the other fight sports. You know what I mean? Like most of the time you're walking out with a few stitches. So, whereas most of the time guys don't care, you know, we're used to being kind of ugly. A lot of the girls do. So it's like, you know, you gotta really be on board to step in there.
Okay, so how was the Christie fight made? Was that something were you wanting to go to Europe and challenge one of their guys? Were you just looking to stay busy, or like was that on their end?
So they were the first ones that put it out there. You know, Lou Fuse has his show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think he's kind of close with Christie, and they'd put out a call out on Lou's Instagram page, and it was kind of basically just towards the top 5 in the light heavyweight division, and I was the first and only one to respond to it, and I was just like, you know, I'm in, and since it came about like that, at first I didn't know if there was a chance for it to really, you know, come, because I know they like to try and get some Americans on those cards when they can, but it's also, you know, it's a cost thing. It's not cheap to fly everybody around.
Right.
But yeah, it happened pretty quick. You know, we went back and forth on Instagram a little bit, you know, and yeah, it just came about pretty quick after that. They, you know, Nate Shook talked to Jihad, and he's like, you know, will Jared fight over in the UK in November? And, you know, I didn't blink. I'm like, absolutely. And I'm like, absolutely. Man. And yeah, so I always thought it would be cool to fight over there anyways. You know, I didn't necessarily know I was going to get this chance, but I'm glad that it's come about. It's going to be a fun trip.
Okay, so this is for the both of you. So are you guys looking forward to doing like some sightseeing stuff, or is it like more of a strictly business? You're going to go over there, you know, kick ass, take names, and come back, or?
Yeah, unfortunately, it'll probably be a mostly business thing. You know, we'll get there a couple days ahead of time, but you know, again, when you're pre-fight, you still got to be strict and good. You're not like you can go out and just drink and have a good time, you know. So we'll probably mostly just be kicking it locally around the hotel and whatever's nearby, and we're not sticking around much long afterwards, unfortunately, because we kind of, you know, we got 11 of us going, which is right. Pretty. But a lot of the people have to be back for, you know, Monday morning work. So when we all bought our tickets together, we're kind of like, oh, well, we'll just have a quick turnaround. But either way, I still think it's going to be a good time, you know, regardless of how long we're over there for.
And the bars don't close till like 6 a.m. So we're just going to not sleep and we're going to get back on our plane.
Yes, post-fight, we'll have a great time.
Is there anything that you do want to try to see when you're over there? Like maybe something in London or anything? Or are you really, like I said, have like no plans to see anything? Just.
Yeah, as far as planning, I haven't done any of that. I'm more of a let's just wing it kind of guy. I don't know if there's much to see in the Leeds area in particular, but I know you brought up London. I think from what I've been told, it's about a 2.5 hour train ride to get to London.
He needs to rest.
So, yeah, if anything like changes and we ended up, you know, extending it,
yeah,
that would be fun. And you know, I'd definitely try and make it over to London in that situation. But
I always wanted to go to like a soccer game over there, like watching those like dudes cheering and stuff. Like I don't know if you guys ever watch that like Welcome to Wrexham that's on Fox right now or it's on Hulu. Like, but like it's based out of Wales. But like I mean, just the soccer atmosphere is insane with like all the cheering and you know, it just looks like a fun time.
You ever watch Green Street Hooligans? That was like one of my
favorites. It. Absolutely, Charlie Hunnam back in the day. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's always seemed interesting because like I know they do like certain fans on one side and then the opposing teams on the other, and then if you don't care, they'll put you in the middle, and it's like, why would you want to sit in the middle and have shit thrown at you and stuff? You know, like. Okay, so now here comes some Shift MMA questions. So they would like to know who is more ghetto between the two of you.
Definitely her. That's not even a competition. She wins that one all day long.
I just say I'm bougie.
I was told that they can't take you anywhere.
No, they can't.
Nope. She's always dancing and jiving.
I am a classy hood girl.
You know what an oxymoron is? That's what
Dude. That's why he liked me so much. I'm like his LaFonda from Napoleon Dynamite.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're LaFonda, right? Yeah.
that's awesome. I think it's great that you like to bake so much. My wife's a big time baker, so I in the house I do all the cooking, like dinners, but she bakes on the weekend. So like, what? How do you guys' cooking arrangement? Like, who does the cooking for your guys' house?
I do all the cooking. Yeah, I do all the cooking. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, baking. I just really, really like to do it too. I feel like that's kind of like my way to take care of him. Especially too, like he goes, and works 24 hours a shift. I kind of feel like, me being here with our fur babies and being able to, cook for him and stuff like that is like my way of also like showing, I'm taking care of him and got to feed the belly.
I do make the espresso every morning though.
He does.
Okay,
We use like the old school like percolator, the old Cuban coffee style,
sure.
and that's my contribution to cooking in the house.
And that's like my favorite thing. Like, talk about like little things that people do, but him making our espresso in the morning, it's like my favorite thing in the world. In the world. And when I make the espresso, I feel like it doesn't even taste the same. And so when we wake up in the morning, I'm like, coffee. And he's like making our espresso in the morning, and it's like we'll have like a little treat with it. It's just so yummy. It's like my favorite.
That's so funny because my wife, like, I make the breakfast usually, and sometimes I'll be like, "Well, can't you make breakfast?" And she goes, "It doesn't taste good when I make it." And I'm like, "All you got to do is put it in the oven." Like, she's like, "Well, I don't do that." So it's funny.
That's a common excuse we all like to use.
Yeah.
Doesn't taste.
Okay, so you don't have a fight, you don't have anything going on. What do you two like to do for fun? Like, what is a typical off day? Like, what's that involved?
I feel like we're always in fight camp, more or less. I feel like it just never really ends. So our training is very consistent. But as a result, because we're always at the gym and expending all that energy and stuff, we're usually just like at night times, like, we eat, hang out with the dogs, and like binge watch something. You know what I mean? Like we don't really go out a ton. I feel like early on we did, but I don't know if I'm just like a shit magnet or what. Like every time we're out, like trouble finds me every fucking time. Like I'm not the guy to like start trouble for no reason or anything like that. I'm just kind of mind my business, but somehow it always finds me. I don't know how to walk away, so we end up getting kicked out of bars and shit. And
Okay.
I was just trying to have a drink and have a good time. So as a result, we ended up just staying in a lot.
We do have movie night. Like he goes and takes me out. He knows I love like popcorn and stuff, so he's all, guess where we're going. So we'll go have like little movie dates. I get so excited about like treats and popcorn and stuff. But we go like have movie nights, or there's like this little, it's called Salt Shack, and it's this little beach restaurant. We'll go there, and I love that. That's it's so yummy over there. But we love being home, honestly. We can be just lazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What kind of dogs do you have?
So we have a female Boston Terrier, and we have a male American Bully. And
Okay.
he's like the baby. He's only like a year and a half. The girl's a little older, but they're a sweet little duo.
You should see him sleeping right now. He's like on his back with his tongue completely out. Like,
Yeah. I'll tilt this for a second.
Cool. Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah. Just out. Living his best life.
That's great.
We're
Yeah, same thing. Tongue hanging out and everything.
It's the best thing ever.
Okay, so I'm not sure if you'll know who gave me this question, but I was told to ask you, tell us which is the other one's favorite pie?
What's my favorite pie?
What's his favorite pie?
Yeah, what's his favorite pie?
His favorite pie is all pies, but apple pie with melted cheese on top of it.
It's a really straight, like, I think when I, grew up, that was a common thing in my household. Like, people would just melt a slice of cheese on top of apple pie. And then I kind of thought that was like a normal thing, but pretty much anytime I've done it, like at the firehouse or just randomly at a, at like a Thanksgiving or something, everybody looks at me like I'm weird. It's definitely not a common thing.
And I know Coach Hod likes sweet potato pie.
Well, that is who gave me the pie question, so that's really funny.
Feeling. Yeah.
So like a slice of Velveeta or like shredded up cheddar? Like what kind of cheese do you put on?
Either, definitely sliced. Either American or cheddar works.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, but it's good. Like, I don't know. Like, I kind of like the whole sweet and salty thing together. But it's something you should try it.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a shot. And what about Crystal? What's her favorite?
Yeah, what is my favorite?
He's like, whatever you bake.
Strawberry rhubarb. Yeah,
I love rhubarb, so I'm a fan of that.
Pretty much anything you put in my face is my favorite. But I love apple pie. Not with the cheese on. I tried it. It was different for me. But I love apple pie, pumpkin pie, all the pies. Honestly, all the pies.
It's like freaking, what's his name? Bubba from Forrest Gump. Like,
yeah, with shrimp.
Pineapple shrimp. Barbie.
Well, you two are well liked among Jihad's part of the Reddit, so he talks about you guys really well on the Reddit, and so we appreciate all your time. And is there any sponsors or anybody you want to give a shout out to before we call it an end?
Yes, she does.
We have some of our main sponsors. We have OnlyFans, and we have Silly Ventures, Gentle Art CBD. We have Off-Road Pizza. We have
Wakey Coffee.
Oh, Wakey Coffee. We have Swerve Barber. We have
Jet ICU is one that I've had for a bit. They're good peoples. And Foil Surfboards. He's my longest sponsor. He's another firefighter who his side biz is he makes surfboards from scratch.
Oh, wow.
Cool, huh?
Yeah, it's a pretty cool little gig, and he's always helped take care of me. Been a long time sponsor.
Jace, we have my tattoo artist. He's there's art gallery tattoo parlor in California. He does my tattoos, and he sponsors. He's been a sponsor since like day one. He's awesome. Man, we have a family. We definitely have a family of people who support us. So if we didn't mention you guys, we absolutely are so grateful for all of our sponsors, for sure.
Great. Well, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate it, and good luck.
My pleasure, man. Nice meeting you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.